Folks, how we doing? It is, what time is it? 7:50, almost 8 p.m. here on Sunday night. I told you guys I was going to be having the MMA Monday come out on Sunday because I'm going to be busy all day tomorrow, unfortunately. But I'm going to get the podcast out nonetheless. Got me a little Zevia here, sipping on a little Zevia. Got me feeling a little bit loose. So I guess we're just going to go ahead and jump into these topics. Let me make sure I got my topics all straightened away real quick so I can be able to see him without you guys seeing him in case I lose track of where I'm at. Alright, so this weekend, if you guys didn't see my video that I uploaded earlier today, we had the Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov card. I did a little challenge where I bet pretty much anything that had underdog odds plus odds. Did a little challenge. I couldn't bet on any favorites, so it made it a little bit difficult for me because obviously if it has plus odds, it's less likely to happen. But we start out, you guys, I'm not gonna spoil the whole thing, but you guys can tell this from the title. I started out with my money, I lost my money, had a few bucks left, $3, won all my money back and then some, and it was pretty neat. It was a pretty fun video. It was it was like a roller coaster. It was exhilarating, but still end up on money after almost losing my money, which is pretty sweet. Go ahead and check out that video though, so you guys can see all the in between and stuff like that if you guys have not already. But like I said, we had the Ciryl Gane Alexander Volkov card, and not a bad card, honestly. I'm gonna go ahead and switch my screen over. It was actually a pretty exciting card. The main event was pretty boring. I just feel like Ciryl Gane is just kind of got the I hate saying it because he's a very good, very talented young fighter, but he's just kind of a boring guy to watch. He's not super exciting. It's just like the last fight. I mean, I should take that back. His last two fights have been pretty boring. He does have some pretty sweet finishes. Had that heel hook, which you don't see too many heavyweights going for heel hooks. But his last two fights have just been snooze fest, 5 rounds, just pretty much him outpointing his opponent. I thought personally, I was thinking Volkov was actually going to win. I thought just the experience of MMA experience, more MMA experience. I don't know if he had more kickboxing experience, but I know Volkov has some pretty extensive kickboxing experience himself. I just thought Volkov was going to be able to weather the storm, just piece him up, pick his shots, and eventually weather him out and start putting on him in the later rounds, which is actually quite opposite. That's kind of what Ciryl Gane did. They were pretty back and forth in the beginning, wasn't much action, and then it progressed. It looked like Gane was starting to pour it on more a little bit, but he was never getting too crazy. I don't want to say he was throwing a bunch of flying knees and stuff like that, but it never didn't seem like he was just going nuts for the knockout, kind of like a Francis Ngannou or something like that. But as you can see here, the cards start off with Yancy Medeiros, Damir Hadzovic. I actually didn't see this. It was actually on my way back home from running some errands. I didn't see this, but it was actually pretty sweet there towards the end. I saw the end of it, and Yancy Medeiros had Hadzovic. He was actually starting to put it on him in that third round, and if there was more time in that last round, if this was a fight to the death, if they're fighting in the street, Medeiros would have won that because he had that rear naked choke locked in, and it was just a matter of time before he actually fully sunk it in. He had his arm under his neck and everything. That was pretty sweet. I saw Nate Diaz tweet out saying that that Yancy won that fight. He said, "Respect Yancy, you won that fight," which is kind of like the same story, I guess, with the Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards. If they're fighting to the death, I think Diaz could have had a pretty good shot of winning against Edwards, putting him away, because he did have him hurt, and he wasn't going anywhere with all the shots that Edwards was putting on him. And it was just really, that probably would have been a battle of cardio, who had the better cardio, which I would probably argue Nate, but this fight was pretty much the same way. It looked like Yancy was starting to come back in that third round, but just the time ran out. Damir Hadzovic won the unanimous decision. Justin James and Charles Rose, the guy, Justin James, bet his whole entire fight purse. One watcher, me. Much respect, Michael Mason. I appreciate that. It all starts with somebody. You're number one, so I appreciate the support. I appreciate you tuning in. What did you think of Justin James putting his whole entire purse? He put all 20K or whatever. I don't even know what it was. He put his whole fight purse betting on himself to win because his back was against the wall. I don't know if anybody else saw that. But he lost, as you guys can see here, lost a split decision. I think it was a unanimous decision. I think Rosa did a pretty good job. It just seemed like he was he was definitely better on the ground. Stand-up James looked like he was a little bit more dangerous, but I think overall, I think Charles was actually doing a better job of picking his shots, just piecing them up and I guess racking up the points on the scorecards. But James definitely looked like he posed more danger, and it looked like there in the third round he could have potentially put Rosa away, but then went for a flipping takedown, which is incredibly stupid when you're I thought he was clearly losing the fight. Justin James was. He was getting out controlled on the ground, and I think that was the story of the fight. and he actually had Rosa hurt, was putting some shots on him, and then goes for a flipping takedown, which is so dumb. That's how the fight ended up. They were just like in a grappling exchange. Never really got to put any more shots on him after he had him hurt. Julia Avila and Julia Storilenko, two Julias. Storilenko was the chick, if you guys saw a couple months ago, that missed weight pretty bad, like fell off the scale into the backdrop. She obviously didn't fight then. This is her first fight back since then. Vila looked pretty good. As you can see, she got a third round submission. I think it just seemed like everywhere Avila was better, and I thought actually Storilenko might be the better one on the ground, but as you can see, Avila won by submission. Marcin Prachnio, Isaac Villanueva. I had money on Villanueva. I'm giving away my video, but yeah, I had money on Villanueva. I got Michael Mason. He had Rosa rocked in that third for sure, and then went for a takedown. You think it was split? Thanks for having me. No problem. I thought it was pretty clear. You could definitely give that third round. I could see that, giving that third round to James for sure, because he definitely put Rosa in way more danger than he did in that whole entire fight in that third round. But I don't know. I don't think that was a smart idea to put your whole entire fight purse, especially when you lost. Now you're not getting any money. Your coaches aren't getting any money. They're probably pretty mad about that. But Marcin Prachnio was getting pieced up too at the start of that fight. Isaac Villanueva was doing a good job of outboxing him, but that was really all he was doing, was outboxing, and he wasn't throwing any kickboxing. He wasn't throwing any kicks whatsoever. It was just straight boxing. And Prachnio realized, because Prachnio has a pretty strong karate background. I believe he was a Polish national champion in karate. He started just throwing those leg kicks, and then he realized really fast that Villanueva did not like those leg kicks and just kept chopping, and then went to the body, which was pretty smart, because you got him thinking about the leg kicks now. The body's probably going to be open, because if you catch him off guard with that, tagged him right with the body shot in the liver, put Villanueva down in the second. Warlley Alves, Jeremiah Wells, I was pretty upset about this one as well. Not upset for what happened, but you'll see it in the betting video. It has to do with betting. Jeremiah Wells, he went out there. He's got like a very weird. He kind of reminds me of Alan Patrick. If you guys have seen him fight, he fought like last weekend or 2 weekends ago against Mason Jones. But he kind of has that weird style where he's just super unorthodox. He has a lot of power, and it's kind of hard to get a read, or like, because his range and everything he does is so much different than, like, it's like Anderson Silva when he fought Julio Cesar Chavez. It was probably so much weirder for him because the range, the movement, everything's so different. And that's what it was with Jeremiah Wells. He just moves different. He's very unorthodox. He's wild. He has a lot of power. And like you saw when he put Warlley Alves away, it was like such a wild exchange when he put him away. But it works because it's hard to prepare for. You can't really get a good game plan to prepare for something like that. It was pretty sweet though. Pretty sweet knockout. Probably I'd probably think one of the best knockouts of the night. Shavkat and Rakhmonov, I had a hard time saying that, and Michel Prazeres. This was pretty funny to watch, just because Prazeres looks like he's a bantamweight that's just like super jacked, that just like probably if he actually had like a lean, like a, I don't know, if he wasn't super jacked, he could probably be a bantamweight, but he's just so big fighting at welterweight. I think he actually used to even fight at middleweight, but he just looks so much smaller than Shavkat, who I believe is like 6 foot or 6 foot plus. I was saying he looked like Beetlejuice fighting somebody. Let me see how tall Rakhmonov is, if they show me. I don't think they're going to show me. But he was a lot taller, significantly taller. Got the second round submission there, as you can see. It just looked like he looks like a stud too. Again, he's not fighting like top level welterweights, or ranked welterweights, but he looked pretty good. Like everywhere the fight went, he looked solid. Like especially when into the ground, he looked like he was just dominant everywhere the fight went. Next fight, Kennedy Nzechukwu and Danilo Marquez. Speaking of a Nate Diaz type character, Kennedy Nzechukwu was like his past 2 fights. Marquez looked very good in the beginning of the fight, and then as you guys saw, Nzechukwu literally just like he just started pouring it on him. I don't know if I agreed with the stoppage. I didn't see, because I did go in the kitchen really fast to get a drink and then came back in, and I was messing around in the kitchen. I wasn't like right back and forth. So I missed like a minute, 2 minutes right before like the knockout happened, but I saw like the 20 seconds before he actually got or whatever, the TKO happened. It just didn't, like, he looked like he was pouring it on, and I understand Marquez wasn't responding or firing back. He was just like kind of in a submissive position, covering up. But I don't think you could. I don't know. I thought it was weird, but again, I would have to go back and watch it, because I only saw like literally like that 20-second window of when he started pouring it on. But Nzechukwu, his past 2 fights, just takes everything you got and then just at the very end just pours it on you, and he puts you away. He's just like a zombie. That's what I said in the video. He takes all the punishment and then just puts it on you once you're wore out. Pretty tough dude. It was pretty insane because I had money on Chuck Wu as well. I'm giving away the whole video. I'm not gonna. I gotta stop talking about the video. But yeah, no, it was pretty exciting. Not the Moicano, Jai Herbert. Moicano just looked way better than. Well, actually, I take that back. Herbert did look pretty good on the feet. But Moicano was definitely like on the ground. It was a completely different. Like Herbert was a fish out of water. He just like would slice through right to mount every single time. Herbert was doing a good job. I think he's tricky on the feet because he's long and he does have a good jab and he's constantly moving and bobbing. But Moicano again just got the fight to the ground every single time. Didn't look like Herbert had an answer for the takedowns. And as you guys can see, Moicano got the second round submission there. Next fight, Tim Means, Nicholas Dalby. Excuse me, Tim Means. Looking pretty good. Dirty Bird was looking pretty good. Dalby looked like there in the third round he started turning it on, but it wasn't enough. Tim Means just did enough over the 15 minutes, got the unanimous decision there. And then this fight, Andre Fili, Daniel Pineda. Fili looked fantastic, probably the best I ever seen Fili fight. Fili looked very good. He was dropping Pineda a couple times, and even on like the ground, like the grappling exchanges, he had that nice lateral drop that was pretty sweet. I threw that in my video. But Pineda, it was just unfortunate. I'm not like all props to Pineda. He tried everything he could to get back in the fight. Was guessing on the count on the fingers when the doctor was trying to see if he can see. Just unfortunately the eye poke ended that fight with no contest. But I think Fili looked great. I think it was just a matter of time before Fili actually put him away. And then this is a fight also I want your guys' opinions on. If you guys watched the Timur Valiev and Raoni Barcelos, what did you guys think of this fight? How did you guys see this decision going? Do you guys think Barcelos won? Do you think it should have been a draw, or do you think Valiev actually won? I was pretty big on Valiev. I've seen him. I watched his fight when he fought Trevin Jones like back in August. And he looked very good. Obviously, he got knocked out in that fight. But he was just, I think it was because he was looking so good that he was just getting, like, he was just teeing off on him. He was throwing everything at him in the kitchen sink. And I think he was just getting complacent. Like, that's the reason he got knocked out. He was getting complacent. And that's the ultimate reason why he got caught. Trevin Jones, though, he's been doing pretty well for, that fight was actually a no contest because Jones tested positive for something. I think it was weed or something. But Trevin Jones actually, it's like past two fights has been an underdog, and he's won like devastating knockout. But Valiev actually in that fight, he showed a lot to me. He had a very diverse skill set. Obviously, this was a lot harder of a fight. Barcelos is a very, very, very tough opponent. I believe he was like 16-1. Hadn't lost a fight since 2016. I mean, he looked great. I think the problem was, I think Valiev clearly won the first round. I think you could definitely give, or I'm almost certain Barcelos won the second round because Valiev was starting to, again, I think he was starting to get a little too overconfident, and he kept, like, when you'd go for those takedowns or when you'd throw combinations, he was leaning too much, and when he was leaning, every time Barcelos was catching with that right uppercut, and he couldn't miss with that uppercut, and it looked like for a second that Barcelos, actually, now that I remember, Barcelos definitely won the second round. It looked like that Barcelos was actually going to put Valiev away. He dropped him like two or three times, and I thought for sure Valiev was done. I was like, Jesus, like I don't know how he survived, especially at the end of that second round. He did not look like he was there. Came out in the third round, put it on Barcelos. It was a pretty like technical fight. Kind of similar to the main event, but I think this was definitely a little bit more exciting. But I think Valiev won. I was obviously big on him because I was wanting him to win. But I think Valiev did a good job. I think he looked great, especially against a tough opponent like Barcelos. Do I think he's gonna have trouble in the top 15? Definitely, for sure. But he's a fun guy to watch. OSP and Tanner Bosser. A lot of controversy surrounding this because I saw that OSP did what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what he report or refuted. I don't know. I did something, filed something with the commission, pretty much where he did because the whole fence grab with Tanner Bosser when he got up. Now, I don't think the fence grab pulled him up. It didn't directly pull him up to his feet. However, I do think when he did pull on the fence, it allowed him to turn his hips. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. It allowed him to turn his hips in a way to where he was able to stand up. That allowed him to get up. So, no, he didn't directly pull himself up, but I do see the argument. I do see what the announcers and I do see what OSP saw. It's because when he used that fence to turn, it allowed him to turn his hips to stand up, and ultimately, which led to the knockout, which happened like probably 20 seconds after that. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that too. What did you guys think of that? Did you guys think Bosser did actually grab the fence and it was BS and it should be whatever? It should be a no contest or something?
or I don't know. I don't know actually. Would it be a DQ? I'd probably just be a no contest now since it happened. Or do you think it was fine? Like Boston didn't really do anything wrong. I don't think he used it to pull himself up, but I think obviously, like I said, I think it definitely gave an advantage, which allowed him to get up and ultimately knock out OSP. Ciryl Gane, Alexander Volkov. Already talked about this. It was a good fight, I guess, but it was boring. I mean, highly technical. But I don't know. After all the other fights, they were pretty exciting with the knockouts and the finishes. This was kind of especially for 5 rounds. It was just like after the first like 3, I was like, I think I stopped watching it. But yeah, it was all right. I just think it was after a while, it was evident that Gane was gonna win. And then what we got on Tuesday, we got the appeal. Yeah, that's what it is, appeal. I couldn't think of the word. I was gonna say like refute or file a complaint, but this is not. I don't think you could file a complaint. We got the Ultimate Fighter, though, episode 5, I think, coming up on Tuesday. I think, I'm pretty sure it's Brian Battle, the dude with the long hair, and I forget who he's fighting, somebody from Team Ortega. I think this is actually going to be, I've correctly predicted the previous 4 episodes. I'm 4-0 on all the fights. I've called all of them. Well, I guess not the first one because the first episode, I was in my mind, though, as I was watching the first episode, I was like, okay, Andre's going to win. But this fight, I think Team Volkanovski is going to get their first win. I think Brian Battle's probably going to win this fight. I forget who he's fighting. But I got that feeling that Brian Battle is going to win. I don't know. I haven't done much research on these guys. I think Brian Battle maybe does have a loss or 2. Let me see. Brian Battle. Tapology. Oh, it's Bryn. Okay. Brian Battle. Let's see. Yeah, he's got 1 loss, but I think he's on all his fights. He's won by finish, so I'm gonna go with him. He looks like a pretty big dude. He looks like an intense dude, and he looks like one of those guys that's super nice. Yeah, it's all finishes except his first fight. He looks like one of those guys that's super nice, super chill, and you would never expect him to actually be a flipping killer that he is. And then the last episode, you had the Vince Murdoch fight against I can't think of the fellow's name. I can see his face, but I think the other guy was just inexperienced. Murdoch had way more experience. And it didn't look like, especially when they were exchanging in the pocket. I want to say it was Dustin or somebody like that. I forget the guy's name. But he just didn't look like he had the respect, and that comes from experience of getting tagged back by somebody. I don't know. I think the biggest factor in that last fight was the experience for Vince Murdoch. He's the most experienced guy on the Ultimate Fighter. Next week, or not next week, whenever the next UFC is, the next actual event, because there aren't any more events until this. In July 10th, got UFC 264, McGregor vs. Poirier. Obviously, probably going to be the biggest card of the year. And holy cow, if you got Ryan Hall on your flipping early prelim main event, that's kind of sweet. Start off the early prelims, though. I'm going to be honest, I don't know who either of these guys are. But a lot of the, I don't know. I don't know who either of these guys are, to be honest. I don't know who to predict in this fight. I'm just gonna go past it because I don't know who. Jerome Rivera and Zalgaz Zumagulov. I like Zumagulov. He seems like a pretty tough dude. I think he's like from Uzbekistan or something. A lot of those guys from that region are pretty tough. I'm going to go with Zalgaz just because I like him. I think in his UFC debut against Pavia, he definitely got robbed. Omari Makhmedov and Brad Tavares. This will actually be a pretty entertaining fight. I'll probably go with Akhmedov, but I really don't know. Again, there's no research on these. Jennifer Maia, Jessica Ai. I'm probably going to go with Jennifer Maia. I just think Jessica Ai is done. She'll probably take Ai down and sub her. Ilya Tupura and Ryan Hall. This is actually a really exciting fight, especially to be this early in the card. I'm a big Ryan Hall guy. Tupura, however you say his name, is actually the favorite in this fight. But I think Ryan Hall is such a flipping dark horse. He's such an underrated guy. He's one of those people that the reason people don't like, a lot of people don't know who he is unless you're a hardcore MMA fan, is because same thing with Kamaru Usman, same thing with Islam Makhachev. Nobody wants to fight him because he's such a flipping nightmare. On the ground, if you're gonna go to the ground with him, you're SOL, you're done. But on the feet too, he throws all kinds of like crazy unorthodox techniques. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna close the range and take him down. So he has all the space and the stand up to be able to tee off on you. He has all kinds of crazy kicks. He's a very exciting guy to watch. I'm gonna go with Ryan Hall by submission. But I'll do a little bit more research though, because I'm curious why they have Tupuri as the favorite. Trevin Giles and Dricus Duplessis. I don't know how to say this guy's name. I've seen him fight before, but I'm gonna go with Trevin Giles. Sean Brady, Kevin Lee, this fight actually got pulled, but this is actually a very tough fight for Kevin Lee, especially coming back after like a year and a half off. But that fight got pulled, unfortunately. Michel Pereira and Nico Price. This is going to be another exciting fight. Very entertaining. I think Nico Price is going to be able to get it done. He just is able to knock people out with all kinds, like from the weirdest angles. And Michel Pereira is obviously another very unorthodox dude, but I'm going to go with Nico Price. Carlos Condit, Max Griffin. I like Carlos Condit. I just think he's past his time. He's able to hang in there against certain guys, like if you're fighting a Matt Brown or a Court McGee, like a guy like that, that's also kind of past his time. But I think Max Griffin's going to probably be able to put it on him. I don't know. Maybe Carlos Condit will surprise me, but I just think youth on Max Griffin's side. And he's in that kind of slightly new because MMA is constantly evolving. There's so many new evolutions that are coming along. Like Ciryl Gane is a good example of like maybe not Ciryl Gane, but like Israel Adesanya is a good example of like a new age MMA guy or something. Maybe not Adesanya. I don't know. There's evolutions, and Carlos Condit is in one of the older evolutions of MMA, I guess. I'm gonna go with Max Griffin though. And then kicking off the main card, we got Sean O'Malley, Luis Smolka. This one's just I like Sean O'Malley, but let's be honest, Smolka's a sacrificial lamb. Smolka is tough. Don't sleep on Smolka. He's definitely a very tough dude. I don't think he's ever been finished, or he's maybe been finished like once or twice. But he's definitely a very hard guy to put away. I'm gonna go with Sean O'Malley. Ultimately, he's a massive favorite. But I like Sean O'Malley. I'm going with Sean O'Malley because I just believe Smolka's going to be a sacrificial lamb. Irene Aldana and Yana Kunitskaya. This is actually a very exciting fight. I'm probably going to go with Aldana, but Kunitskaya has been looking pretty good recently. She might surprise me. Tai Tuivasa, Greg Hardy. This is going to be another exciting fight. I think Tai Tuivasa is probably going to get it done. He might be able to. Both these guys kind of have pretty shaky grappling, but I think just experienced Tuivasa has probably got Hardy beat. I'm going to go Tuivasa, but I really don't know. Gilbert Burns, Stephen Thompson. This is another exciting fight. Stephen Thompson's actually I'm almost certain he's probably the favorite. I honestly believe he'd win, but I'd like to see Gilbert Burns. I just think it's gonna be hard for Burns to get his hands on Thompson to take him down. He's so elusive, and he's just got very good movement. But we'll see though, because Burns definitely does have some power. He could do some Anthony Pettis stuff, bounce off the cage. We'll see, but I don't know. I think Thompson will win, but I want Burns to win. Then the main event, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor. You guys have seen my video on this. Well, if you haven't, go ahead and check it out. I ultimately think Poirier is going to win. Whichever way it goes, somebody's getting finished. There's absolutely no way this fight goes the distance. If it does, I'd be shocked. But I want to go with Poirier. I'm a big Poirier guy. I just think durability, he's a lot more durable at 55 than he was at 45. Conor McGregor's 1-3 since fighting at lightweight. He's only won one fight, and that was that title fight against Eddie Alvarez, which I think I don't know. I think that McGregor's probably most effective at 45, which we'll never see Conor McGregor at 45 ever again, probably, unfortunately. But it's 170. He's okay in entertaining fights. But if he fights a true 170 like a Kamaru Usman, he's like a real 170 that's actually got a massive frame for 170. Conor would just get absolutely worked. I think he's good at 55. Obviously, he's got more muscle. He's still kind of got the same speed and everything. Not that I guess the speed diminishes. I just think McGregor performs at his best. And when everybody came to love Conor McGregor, when he was bursting on the scene, knocking everybody out, first round knockouts, that was at 145. And I think that was Conor's best weight class. And I think Poirier is way better at 55. Obviously, he's only lost to Khabib and Michael Johnson. He's like 11-2 at lightweight. I just think durability-wise, he'll be able to take McGregor's best shots, and then I think McGregor will start to just not be as effective. He's not going to have the same pop on his shots, and I think Poirier will be able to weather him and maybe put him away. I wouldn't be surprised if Poirier came out with like a grappling heavy approach, like that takedown he got in the very first round. McGregor did get up right away, but if he really works on his grappling, maybe Poirier can do a good job of just implementing a solid game plan. Just to be able to take McGregor down, to get his muscles to air or get filled up with blood and air and all that stuff, so he doesn't have that same pop and speed, and then Poirier can put it on him. We'll see though. Poirier inside the distance is plus 150 value, better value than betting on him straight. McGregor doesn't have 25 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, because I think if Dustin loses, it's gonna be because McGregor knocked him out early, and if Conor loses, it's gonna be because McGregor blew his wad. He gassed out, and then Poirier put it on him. I could see McGregor just being able to slip away from the shots and get beat up in a decision. I definitely do see that as I could see that as a alternate route or how this fight plays out. But a different outcome. But I don't know. I think either way somebody's gonna get finished. I don't know. I'm curious what the odds are. I think Poirier is a slight underdog. Last time I checked, it was like -113 for McGregor, -108ish or something like that for Poirier. I think Poirier is gonna win though. I don't know. I do agree though that there's obviously better value in betting it not to go the distance, but I do believe that I think it's more likely that that Poirier knocks out McGregor, but we'll see. I really don't know. Obviously, it's fighting; anything can happen. But that's how I see these fights playing out. I'm very excited though for this card. I'm gonna be in New York actually when this happens, so I'm not gonna be at home with my normal setup, which sucks. But I'm gonna have all my stuff with me. I'll have my camera and everything with me, which reminds me too. I need to figure out how to get this set up to where I can. Wait, I just realized this whole entire time I have a camera. I apologize if the camera wasn't on, but you guys can see. You guys were able to see the full screen. That sucks that I didn't have the camera on the whole entire time. But like I said, I'm gonna be in New York whenever this fight actually happens. So I'm gonna probably I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I'll have my video out nonetheless because it's, like I said, one of the biggest cards of the year. There's no way I'm missing this for the I guess the traffic. I sound like a clout flipping attention whore, but there's no way I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna find some way to get it done. I need to figure out how to get my camera though. If anybody knows how to get like a camera configured, I guess I can just Google it. I'll just end up Googling or YouTube it, but I just hate this flipping webcam. I don't like how my face looks so flipping bright. I look pastier than the Pillsbury Doughboy. I need to figure out how to get my camera though. It's just better quality and it'll be better for you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Let me see. Topics wise, I don't got anything else left to talk about. We had Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis both fight this past weekend. I figured that, both those guys, I saw both those guys winning. I didn't see the Gervonta Davis fight. I did watch a little bit of the Lomachenko fight. I did see the knockout though, and both those guys, I don't know what that was. Both those guys just, I think, until they fight for Gervonta Davis, he needs to fight like a Devin Haney or a Ryan Garcia. I'd like to see one of those two fights, and then Lomachenko. I want to see the Teofimo Lopez rematch. That would be sweet. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys this week. If you guys did enjoy this though, please be sure to drop a like. If you guys have not checked out my video from earlier today that I uploaded this from yesterday, from Saturday, from the fights, go ahead and check that out. Like I said, very entertaining. Lost my money, ended up making it back in the very end. Came up on money, which was pretty sweet. It was a roller coaster of emotion, but I got the money back. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, I will catch you guys sometime this week for another video. We don't have any fights. That's going to suck, so I might be 1 or 2 videos, maybe not as many videos this week just because I don't have any topics to cover UFC-wise, but you never know. Maybe some drama, some Sean Strickland, Orlando Sanchez, beef part 2. I don't know. Something will come up. I'll make a video. I'll have a video out for you guys this week. I'll see you guys later on this week.